I know that Georgia is a pro-military state. The Democrats under Obama, Biden, they will go back to starvation diet when it comes to budget for the Department of Defense. Do Georgians know that?
Well, we're making sure they know that. The military, Georgia is very important to our military and our national defense. It's important to the economy as well. But here's the bottom line. You only have to look at history. The last two American Democratic presidents reduced spending in the military by 25%. We saw what Biden and Obama did in 8 years there. They decimated our readiness. In 2017, Hugh, you know this, only 3 of our Army brigades could go to fight that night out of 59. We see how far behind our Navy is now. We're trying to rebuild that, but it's going to take so much time because of the hole that Bill Clinton and Barack Obama and Joe Biden gave us. So we know we can predict what they're going to do. In fact, Joe Biden has said that. How else are they going to pay for the Green New Deal and some of these other things they're talking about doing?
Let me turn to whether or not there's going to be a bill. I want there to be a phase 4 because I want liability protection, not just for Georgia's small businesses, but everyone across the country will have a trial lawyer at their door if we do not have liability protection. I also like part of Schumer's HEROES Act. I like the Local Broadcasting Act. It will help not just Salem, but I mean every radio station in America, every local newspaper in America needs that. But I don't know that Schumer wants a bill. I think he wants deadlock.
Well, we were told yesterday that they're not negotiating in good faith, and that's different than the first time we went through CARES. We had some political activism in that first round, in the big round, $2.2 trillion tranche of CARES, but it was all in a very short weekend, and, we got to common ground very quickly. Here, we've been doing this for weeks. I mean, Steve Mnuchin, Secretary of Treasury, and Mark Meadows, the Chief of Staff of the White House, has been over in their offices every day for the last 2 weeks. We're not getting any progress. Look, it's a $1 trillion bailout that they want, and the HEROES Act is $3.4 trillion, but $1 trillion of that goes to bailing out California, Illinois, and New York. They want me to tell my people in Georgia, oh, well, by the way, we're going to tax you so we can bail out these intransigent, irresponsible people in California, Illinois, and New York. There's another $550 billion direct payment. Now, we're, in the act that the Republicans are supporting, there's a direct payment, but about half of that. Unemployment, they want this premium, $600 premium, all the way through the end of the year. And that is an incentive to encourage people not to go back to work, which is what the Democrats would love politically.
Now, in terms of the outlook for the virus, the president is rightly talking up vaccines. I've got a family member, the PhD toxicologist. He's amazed where we are. The therapeutics are coming online. But I'm concerned about schools, Senator, because I know this isn't a Senate issue. But if you let an age cohort of elementary kids miss a year and a half of reading, that cohort will never catch up. It's the elementary schools that have me the most concerned. What are they doing in Georgia? What do you think the government can do to help them in Georgia?
Well, the democratically run counties, by and large, are going virtually. But, that's not, as you said, it's not a Senate issue. I would not disagree with what anybody's doing at the local level. I believe that's where it ought to be done. My mom and dad were school teachers, but they're being very careful about this. But I agree with Dr. Fauci. I think all in, I think that the kids are better off in school. I won't second guess the local administrators who are deciding to do it virtually. What we're doing, though, I have a school act, and there are others in here. We've got $100 billion in the Republican proposal, more than the Democrats. The Democrats are only proposing something like 60 or 70 to help bring PPE and other things that can help protect teachers and students while they're in school. It also, provides the best practices, gives data for them, and really connects the health community with the education community. Let me say one thing about what you just mentioned, though. This is a critical time. If we lose a year and a half for some of these children in the 3rd and 4th grade who are not reading at grade level, many of those people will not graduate from high school. We know that. It's predictable, particularly African-American boys. I just have an op-ed that I wrote about Morehouse University, and we call out in there what happens particularly with young black boys who are not reading at grade level. We ought to have an all-hands-on-deck to help those young boys get to reading on level, because we're losing generations of black men right now who can really help us turn the country around and be the leaders of the next century, of the next 50 years anyway.
This is the cohort within the cohort that I'm most alarmed about, and I think people have to focus on protecting the elderly and people in care homes, and they have to focus on these young kids who have not yet mastered reading. Senator, I want to close by a very focused issue. You are on the subcommittee on cybersecurity. The National Solarium Committee came through with a bunch of recommendations. Admiral Montgomery was the executive director of that. I hope they made it into the NDAA. I hope we are doing something about cybersecurity. It's not just TikTok. It's everywhere that the Chinese Communist Party is. We have a problem. Were we successful in getting some of the solarium stuff into the NDAA?
Yes, sir. We've got some heavy lifts in there, as well as trying to rebuild our Navy. I know that's a sweet spot for you as well.
Yep.
But this NDAA does more than anything else support the national defense strategy of standing up to China. The number one thing there are three things really. One is you gotta build a space strategy. We're doing that. President Trump has now created the Space Force. The second thing is this cyber that you call out. We're woefully inadequate right now of integrating our commercial vulnerabilities, our networks, our banking, our energy networks. We've got to get that integrated. And that's one of the things that the solarium talks about. And then the third and the biggest, the most expensive, I think, over a long period of time is rebuilding our Navy. We're going to be, even if we hit our goal of 355 by 2034, we'll still be 75 ships short of what China has. We're already 50 today. As we sit here today, China has 50 more ships than we have. And it's more draconian than that, Hugh, as you know. They outstick us because they were not part of INF. Their ranges of their missiles and all their firepower is longer than ours. So they can stand off an equivalent ship because of the range advantage that they have. So we're moving to correct all that. But these are three big priorities of the current NDAA.
Well, Georgia needs to keep you on that committee, needs to keep you on that subcommittee. And Senator David Perdue, keep coming back to the Hugh Hewitt Show. We'll keep telling Atlanta and Macon and all of Georgia. They got a great senator in David Perdue. Thank you, Senator.